Hello everybody, my name is Fixie People. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. And today we're going to continue the what if, but first, I just want to do a quick reminder. I'm almost at 100 subscribers, and if we hit that goal, I will do a 100 subscriber special. But for now, let's get into the what if. We continue our story after, the whole going to the arcade with Baku and Ochako, and Deku is home, having dinner with his mom. And Inko talks to Deku on how his day was, and Deku says it was fun. He got to hang out with Baku again, and he even made a new friend named Ochako. And Deku smiles briefly until his mom says, "A girl," and then Deku, embarrassed, blushes and hides his face. His mom says it's fine. It's normal. But Deku says the way she mentioned it is not normal. Anyways, after Deku is severely embarrassed, he goes to his room and then sleeps. Next day, he goes to school again with Aizawa, and seeing that they're going to have a new teacher today, and everyone shocked who it could be, with All Might bursting through the door in excitement in his hero outfit. Well, an older version of his hero outfit, which Deku recognized because he's still a nerd. He knows All Might inside and out still, but he hides it. And All Might then explains that they're going to do some hero training and the hero training will be heroes versus villains. And so they all go over to the hero costume areas, and Deku pulls out a baggy pants and puts on a orange t-shirt, but like it's skin tight t-shirt, show his muscles. He also wears magnetic gloves. These gloves are made of metal actually, to enhance his powers. And he even has some antennas on his back and on his ears, on his head. So there's like antennas shooting out of his head, but it's really just a tiara, really. And that's Deku's fit as a hero. Also, his pants are real baggy, like real baggy. But anyways, let's just get into the fights. Well, actually, I gotta continue it. But then then All Might spins the wheel of the balls and then shows them to the class, and they all see that Deku and Ochako are teamed up, with Deku and Ochako high-fiving because two best friends working together. And Baku is excited to fight Deku because his teammates, he doesn't really know too much, but he seems pretty intelligent, so that's useful. And yep. So it begins with Deku opening the door and sneaking through the halls, hoping Baku will take this quietly. But it's Baku. He's not taking this quietly. And we hear explosions coming up, and we see Deku teleport Ochako into a room ahead, and then teleport back to make himself visible. And then Baku shows up, landing right before the door Ochako is, and Ochako, getting the plan, goes up the stairs quietly, with Baku saying, "Is Deku ready to fight?" And Deku saying that he really didn't want this to go into a fight, but he's ready. And then he gets into his stance. It's really just a fist to the chest and a hand outstretched, open palmed, with his legs stretched out. So then Deku rushes forward with his lightning strike and goes for a punch with his electrified fist, but Baku blows himself back, does a twirl, and then shoots a giant explosion by clapping his hands and doing like a shockwave, which shoots Deku back and he recovers quickly with his electric-ability. And then he shoots out 2 dragons that he shoots from his antennas, his back antennas. And then the dragons just start spinning. Think Hanzo's ult in Overwatch. And then Bakugo, seeing no other option, shoots out one of his grenade things. But Deku knew he was going to do this, so he splits the dragons off, breaking through the walls. And Deku just dodges the explosion into one of the rooms. And the dragons go for a pinpoint course that Deku's already said. So Bakugo is stuck into his stance and gets grabbed by one of the dragons and slammed into the other. And then the 2 dragons form into a cage, but Deku just looks over the wall and sees Bakugo immediately break out of it and tell Deku that's it, and tells Deku, is that it? And then he shoots over to Deku, with Deku lightning out and then going to punch Bakugo, but Bakugo shoots him out of the way and shoots him through a couple walls. Then Deku lands back, standing up in a bit of pain, of course, and then shoots off a buttload of lightning, like lightning whips, from his, back and hands, of course, trying to wrap Bakugo, but Bakugo's too swifty and shooting explosions at Deku. So Deku opts that plan and then just starts shooting lightning at Bakugo by think feedback from Ben 10. He puts his fingers out and starts shooting lightning. And then Bakugo is actually getting hit by these, and it's actually really damaging him and messing up his brain. Because remember, brains work on electricity. Of course, really low voltages, but still, if they overload, they'll make you go to sleep. Don't fact check that. Anyways, Bakugo then sends out a huge explosion, which Deku dodges. But Bakugo expected this and charged his other cannon again by putting it over his hand, pulling the pin, and shooting it out. Sadly for Deku, Deku gets hit with this point blank, which almost makes him go unconscious, but he clings onto consciousness. Then he gets up and puts his fist up in like a boxing position, like close-up boxing, putting his fist to his mouth. Then he rushes Bakugo with a boxing stance, and then starts wailing on Bakugo with his boxing. But of course, Bakugo, knowing Deku, he knows one of Deku's weaknesses, which is his side, because he can't block it that well. But Deku has already fixed that weakness by teleporting behind Bakugo and hitting a bat, hits him in the back, then jumps up and hits Bakugo over the head. And then Deku, realizing he's running out of time, he grabs Bakugo's next explosion, aiming it up, shooting through the roof, and it's breaking the roof. And so Deku kicks off Bakugo, climbs up, spins to land on Ida, and then short circuits his entire body, his armor. He basically grabs Ida, shoots out a buttload of lightning, which electrifies Ida's armor and knocks him out. And then Deku teleports again, touching the bomb for a split second, basically grazing it. And Bakugo, just about shooting up, sees Deku touch it and sits on the ledge of where the hole is and sighs in annoyance, sadness, and defeat. And Deku sighs in success. Then we hear All Might says, "Hero team wins!" And then, yeah. And then everything else that happened in the original happens again. But I will say Ida then shoots out a tiny dragon like Deku's. Because it looks cool. Anyways, that's it. Then before they leave, Aizawa says that they're going to go to the USJ and get these signed, which are permission slips, and then they'll be able to go. So everyone goes home, gets them all signed, and next day Actually, I'll say Bakugo and Deku go to the arcade again, without Ochako this time, because he wanted to go chill. They go there, and then meet Denki there. And he actually goes here often, but before Bakugo and Deku do. But he stayed around for a second. And then he meets up with Deku, and they start chatting. With Denki explaining that his hero outfit looked really cool. With Deku saying the same. With Bakugo saying it looked a bit goofy, with Deku looking at him like his... looking at Bakugo like his isn't goofy. Yeah. It's just Denki being... Deku and Denki being good friends. Again. Because they start to get closer and become friends. Because they have the same quirks. It's pretty easy to bounce off. Because if you have something similar with someone, it's easy to become friends. Easier to become friends. After the arcade, Deku goes home with his mom, hugging her son before he gets inside, asking what his hero outfit looked like, with Deku showing her a picture that Ochako took while they were about to start, with Deku doing like a 2 peace signs up with a giant grin. With Inko saying that he looks as handsome as he did before he even put it on. With Deku being happy that his mom is being nice to him, but embarrassed, of course, because that's the teenage way. I wouldn't know. Anyways. Okay, so Deku then just goes to sleep again after eating dinner with his mom and having chats. Next day, we get the USJ. And Deku just gets on the bus and sits there. And of course, we have the same old who's the strongest here. So, but everyone just says Bakugo's, but if he became a hero, he'd probably be really bad at it. With Denki saying that his personality is fire with hot garbage, and Bakugo gets mad at him. But less, of course. But everyone then saying that Todoroki's could be strong, considering he's related to Endeavor, which we see Todoroki visibly get annoyed at, but with Deku noticing. With Deku talking to Todoroki, trying to, and seeing why he's so irritated at that. But Todoroki not giving Deku a single inch of conversation. And it's just Deku trying to talk to Todoroki the whole time, but Todoroki being a stone face. Then they get to the USJ with Deku not being able to get Todoroki to open up, and then they all get in. Deku, seeing the new hero, says that that's Ochako's favorite hero. And the reason he knows that is because in the arcade, Ochako said that her favorite hero was a Cyril, and was yeah. And he looks over to see Ochako gushing at that this is her favorite hero. Until we see a portal open up, with Deku's reaction being big confusion and shock. Him being like, a test now? And what is that? Then we hear Kirishima say, are those fake villains or something? With Aizawa saying no, unsheathing his scarf basically and jumping down. Then we see Aizawa busting up some foos, like he does in the original, with Deku fearing for Aizawa's life. And before Korigiri shows up, actually Korigiri does show up, and Bakugo goes swinging with Kirishima, Deku jumps off the ledge, knowing where this is going, and he then stabs his metal hands into the thing, scraping down, landing. Everyone else being taken and shoot into the portals. Don't worry, Tsuyu and Mineta will be fine. I'll glow over them for a second. Tsuyu and Mineta in that timeline got into the boat, found keys for the boat, and then drove it to shore. But that's later. But we go back to Deku. Deku then walks around the thing, trying to be stealthy, because he doesn't want to be seen. And he sees Shigaraki in the back, definitely looking like the leader of this operation, because he's sitting next to the Korigiri guy and the big monster. And so Deku sneaks around in the shrubs and the fauna, and we see Deku just wait and wait until we see Suyu and Minato driving the boat and accidentally crashing it into the thing, with Deku taking his chance, running over to Shigaraki, where he short-circuits his brain and makes him go unconscious, which makes Korigiri shocked and the Nomu stone-face. And Korigiri, being scared, just teleports both Shigaraki out of there, with him teleporting Deku away into the water area, intending for him to drown. But he lands in and then just immediately electrifies the water, knocking every single villain out, swimming up and then squirting water out of his mouth. Then he swims over to the shore, seeing that Shigaraki is getting up. That was supposed to distract him, or it was supposed to make him unconscious, but I guess Deku thinks that he didn't have enough time to make him go completely unconscious, just out for a sec. Then Shigaraki, beyond pissed that someone touched him and, to short-circuit his brain, tells Nomu to kill that kid. But Deku, knowing dang well he's not fighting that thing, he shoots out two, the two dragons from his back again, and then two sharks from his head. He's just in the water, sharks on the mind. And then he shoots an arrow that he makes from his hand through an electric bow, which shoots like a thunderbolt. And then he uses the bow as a projectile, throwing it like a thunderbolt, basically sending out a lot of things at the Nomu. But we see the Nomu rush at Deku in slow motion, because he's going really fast. Him punching both arrows, punching the arrow out of the way, then the thunderbolt, then uppercutting both of the dragons, knocking them unconscious. By unconscious, I mean deforming them. And the shark actually biting the Nomu, and it hurts, making it bleed. But of course, Nomu, no feelings, so it tears it out, ripping the whole buttload of skin off, slamming it into the ground. And we see Deku slowly, of course in slow motion, shoot into a different direction. And Nomu goes to punch Deku, but Deku teleports right at the right time, and the punch makes the water Moses the water, splitting it in two. And then it slams back together, shooting water on the Nomu. Then the Nomu goes to punch Deku again, but faster. So we see the Nomu throw a punch, Deku dodges it, then the Nomu slamming both his fists on the ground, making a shockwave. But Deku dodges this upwards, then shoots one gargantuan dragon, being a lot bigger than both the two dragons just sent it out. Grabbing the Nomu in its jaws, it flies up and goes into the water, electrocuting the Nomu. But the Nomu just punches out of the jaws and deforms the dragon again. Then basically shooting out of the water by landing on the surface of the water, then shooting out, blowing most of the water out of the thing, and trying to grab Deku. With Deku teleporting, basically, electric dashing, when the Nomu grabs it. Deku. By the way, Deku has to be on the ground to dash. Well, to start the dash. To continue the dash, doesn't need to do anything else. Then Deku is on the Nomu's back and tries to electrocute the thing's head, but of course, the Nomu is overpowered, so it doesn't care. So it grabs Deku and crushing his spine. Actually, not crushing his spine, cracking a whole lot of ribs. But Deku just sends out a whole big shockwave, like with a roar, and we see like a giant ball of electricity shoot off Deku, like a Tesla coil. Then the Nomu gets shot down with a burnt back and burnt fingers, and a missing hand, because it got blown off. But it heals it and regenerates the damage, getting up. Then we hear the door slam open, the front entrance, to reveal All Might ripping his tie off, not smiling. Then we see All Might and Nomu happen, with Deku falling out of the sky, saving himself with a dragon. He lands on the front steps and sees the fight. And eventually, he sees the Nomu grab onto All Might, making his body bleed. But luckily, Todoroki shows up to save All Might. And when the Nomu goes to regenerate, Deku actually runs up to the Nomu, scorching the teleporting, scorching the wound, and the Nomu then can't regenerate that move. Like, fully scorched. So then the Nomu can't regenerate that bit. I said that twice. Ignore it. Then All Might defeats the Nomu a lot quicker in this version, because it's missing a side. And then the Nomu gets sent flying after All Might's one punch thing. Then All Might says the thing he's always said, and says, back in the day that guy would have taken one blow. Then Shigaraki, before he leaves, gets shot up by the gun guy, and then Korigiri and Shigaraki leave. And I think that's where I'll end it, because I like ending it at the USG. But anyways, hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, hit the bunch of notification bells. Hope you liked the video. Have a good one, and goodbye.